Welcome back to the desk as you're about to jump into the third game of this first series. X7 picked red side, and Jay Real was asking, is red side broken? OP. Veteran, explain to me why it is not.
Well, you put me in a bit of a conundrum there because I could see Windows for X7. I think Red Side is OP for Rate because I think
Mm,
Rate have a very good read on X7's comforts now. Whereas X7, they didn't adjust on the draft with the Jarvan, right? They could have easily pivoted into the Trundle. When they were on the red side, they didn't go for the counter picks on the bot lane. They seem to be trying to secure comfort for themselves. I'm not entirely convinced they've come in with a full plan against Rate. So I think it's all a matter of which team is on the red side can
mhm.
somewhat make it broken and can somewhat swing the game.
So if on one side you have a team that is really good at analyzing and
Hmm.
adapting on the champion select, and if you take away that red side, don't Jake, you think blue side rate gaming game 3 should be enough for X7 to take the lead?
I think so. I think Rate Gaming have really showed, like Veteran is saying, an understanding of what weaknesses X7 put across.
Mm.
The problem, however, is I feel like the weaknesses that X7 put across are of their own design. And the nature of it being of their own design means that they can probably turn it on and off in when they want to. I think having heard a lot of what Viking had to say during the group stage, there's almost a kind of a nonchalance to him in his manner. And I feel
Mhm.
like when it comes to a man that kind of puts himself across the way he does, getting beaten by a Division 2 team, I can't imagine is something he wants to face up to. So I feel like now is the time where you power through. Now is the time where you start to take it a bit more seriously.
Mhm.
I think early game is something they've really got to keep a track on. I think Dual Boo is actually really, for me, kind of wiping the floor with Viking at the moment. I think Dual Boo's really showing a lot of skill. And I think Viking will want to even that up a little bit because I think even if X7 wins here, I don't think Viking will want this series to be one that's remembered as Julbu being so dominant.
I want to see Rek'Sai. I want to see Vikings Rek'Sai. That is aggressiveness on early game, and maybe that can tip the scales in favor of X7. Let's see what Red are able to provide. So far, Veteran though, we've seen priority on Azir. It doesn't seem to click.
Hmm.
Thankfully, take away the cat.
Yeah, I mean, the Yumi was actually pretty big for Ray. It helped them be quite dominant in the laning phase, helped them be quite dominant in team fights later. They like the Yumi, they like the Seraphine, they like these enchanters that allow them to maybe not have to play at 100% in those fights. And you're seeing Julbu getting targeted. They removed the Hecarim and Ornn last time. We'll see if they go for an Ornn ban. Maybe they just go for the Hecarim ban and they've decided, we can't deal with these things. We're not going to be able to adapt to them in the next game. Let's see what they do now. Same bans for rate though all the way through. Can't allow the Callista, can't allow the Camille, can't allow the Aatrox, right?
I think
ICL being targeted again.
a very interesting conundrum could unfold here, whereby I think if X7 don't ban the MF, because they're expecting to get it for now the sixth or
Ooh.
seventh time, I think Rate lock in MF here. I think this is one of the champions that Sin plays a lot. He plays Varus, Sivir, MF, a lot of these wave contest picks. And I would not be surprised if they take it here, away from KT.
That would be an interesting pick, but Sejuani
Instead.
priority could be it, and there you go. It's locked in.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, but the Sejuani can be a good setup for the MF, and if X7 try to go for an MF themselves here, Sejuani can interrupt the ultimate much easier than most can. But you also still have the potential for, say, like a slow Q Yasuo if you want to try to defend that kind of an MF play. Mordekaiser is up. I'd be interested to see. I expect slow Q and Icy Gale get more priority at the earlier stages of this draft for X7, given that they try to go for comfort instead of counter, and you're seeing them hover the Silas. That can be a flex between them, but let's be real, this is 100% going towards slow Q. Now the ball's in Arole's court. What is it that he wants to play? We saw him comfortable in the Azir, and we saw slow Q, who's not necessarily comfortable on the Azir, how damaging that matchup can be in towards a Silas. So maybe Arole's found a way to get comfort, but finally, we see the trundle into the opening sedge. They were lulled into a full sense of security by having gone for it beforehand and not have to meet the trundle, instead seeing a poor Jarvan pick. Instead, Vikings like, no, alright, this is my champ. This is a champion that I've performed well with throughout the entirety of Slam Split against far fiercer competition, and I know this destroys Sejuani and leaves them without options.
So now what is the reply? Is it the bot lane in favor of Rate, or are they going to reveal a little bit more? Maybe the mid lane. Okay, they reveal the jungle. I think it's the jungle. I've seen this played on the top lane, but I'm not confident it's going to be it.
Oh my days!
So this is one of the things that we set up at the beginning of the day. We talked about stylistically the differences in play. Slowq is a player who will like to go for these melee champions. Silas, Akali, we think of that. We've seen him play this. E-roll, we talked about one of the major weaknesses of him is his lack of kind of... it's a shallow pool in regards to his AD picks. He only really has the Yone, is literally the only pick we talked about. So he's decided to throw down the gauntlet here. We're not going to see that kind of control mage versus melee matchups. He's deciding to compete with Slowq at his own game now. He said, I saw your Azir, and I didn't really think much of it, so I've decided to now contest you in your own... This is the lion competing with the shark in the shark's waters. You might drown, but for the brief time, you can maybe get a few scratches off.
It's also a dangerous situation, the bigger misfortune, right? You have the Sejuani and the Yone long-range engages. They can interrupt you if you play for ultimate. I expect this to be a PTA crit-based MF, which is quite common, but it's difficult to make her combos with her work. But, you know, they haven't gone for the Jarvan. They aren't trying to go for that sort of thing. And you bring up a good point on the Udyr, Archeron. I actually think Udyr is stronger as a solo laner than he is as a jungler right now. And we've seen Julbu break out the Sejuani, but Udyr, that is the kind of pick that a player like Julbu could be able to play at its peak perfection. How it goes into the Trundle in duels, though, I'm actually gonna have to claim ignorance. I don't know how the current WeWorks version of Udyr does into Trundle. I wouldn't imagine it goes well. But maybe Julbu knows something I don't and is willing to go all in here. Maybe you do win those early duels into the Trundle, and if so, he's thrown down the gauntlet in a similar way to how Aurora has. But as he has done through the entire series, I will match you, I will prevent you doing what you want, but here he's saying, I will take your jungle. That jungle will be mine. We ain't stopping at river this time, baby. I'm crossing the threshold, I'm crossing the Rubicon, and this is my territory, and we're gonna conquer X7 today.
He's crossing the Rubicon, and man goes where he pleases. We've seen that previously in this series. He plays on these very specific windows. What I need to see now is, if you know the Sejuani and the Yone are going top, what I would like to know from you, Mr. Veteran, is can they generate the priority that he needs to play aggressively in the enemy jungle?
With the Yone, you do have the options to do that, especially after first back in this Silas matchup. My question mark was going to be that top side, right? Because we've seen Icygirl move towards the tank setups when he's been denied these carry top laners, but you see the Jace here, that's very heavy priority in towards the Sejuani. You do have those comeback all-in mechanisms, but Udyr basically would have to fix top before invading topside jungle here. That's how that's the structure of the play here, and they didn't expect this Jace pick, I don't think. I haven't seen this pick for a while. The Jinx Renata, Jinx has more wave control than most do. Against most matchups, at the very least, you can force an even state. But the Renata, you have to think it would be quite easy for Tabby to go into an enchanter like the Karma, something like this to try to play into it. Or do they want to try to play for an MF combo that I ultimately don't think would be worth? If they go for priority here, it's way harder for Udyr to get something on Viking without fixing his lane states first, and that will always put him a decision behind. It will be that Karma for Tabby. They know the name of the game. They know they have to shut down Julbu. They're not letting him get any side lanes in. It's gonna have to be mid jungle against priority side lanes, and if you win that, then Julbu can take on Viking. But short of that, you know, it's actually quite a difficult game for Julbu to bring out and try to take Viking on a farming jungler.
So let's roll the dice and see where it lands. Final picks, final predictions. Don Jake.
I'm predicting with my stones this game. I think Sin and the boys, they're taking this. They're going to get the upset here. For me, Red Gaming.
Because you guys are tied, by the way, so whoever wins this one will take the
crown.
for
the love.
It's not about that. Stop trying to create dissonance between the desk. We're one. We're a unit.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think.
You say that, but Veteran.
I say that. It's like that game. Remember that old game show where it's like split or steal?
I call X7. I call X7. I can see how Rake could win this, but I think ultimately they're gonna get heavy pressured early. They're not gonna know what to do if Julbu's down for the count. And I do think Viking has all the tools to take it to Julbu this game. But I'm open to be wrong, but that's what I think.
Oh, mission accomplished.
This is boy George meets man Arnold.
We got the desk now. they're not on the same page. This is lovely to see as we're about to toss it to the casters while waiting to cast the last one of this match. It will be either Wraith Gaming, a second division team that shined through Summer Split and Spring Split, or X7, winners of Spring Split and finalists of Summer. Who's gonna take it? Take it away, boys.
Oh, and we're into game. Okay, I thought it was going to come to us. I got lied to there by Artrom, but we are into game. Summoner's Rift Game 3. It's you and me, Chimera. How are you feeling about the drafts?
So, I'm a big fan of what we're seeing. We saw in Game 1, you saw Slow Q popping off with the Akali, big skirmish champ. Game 2, you had Eero popping off with Silas, another big skirmishing champ. And this time, we've got Silas and Yone, two extreme skirmish champs here. So, a lot of explosive action, a lot of snowball potential in the mid lane, and one important thing to note, well, a big thing, Icegill has gone TP. So we're not going to have the Ignite in top lane. We are going to be able to match those team fight TPs, those late game TPs, creating the equal or numbers advantage. And Eero, in fact, is opting for the Ignite there for that slight extra lane dominance.
Yeah, well, you are the mid lane specialist, so let's start there, right? We're going to say both junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, right? We got Viking starting on his red, we got Udis starting on the Raptors, but mid lane obviously has been a very prominent part of this game. Silas versus Yone, what's your kind of make on this matchup?
So it's a pretty big skill matchup. In the early stages, Yone does have the push. If you start Q, you always get Q onto multiple minions. A slow Q wants to trade, you can trade into slow Q and on the minions and allow yourself to get the prio. You can kind of see here slow Q tried to trade early, but even though he may have won a slight trade there, Eero had the prio, so he's going to have wave control, which usually gives you a better trading pattern because you have a better wave state here. But the one side that X7 do have going for them is they opted in for Trundle in the jungle, and instead of Ray having Sejuani to match this early game skirmish, they went for the Udyr, a much heavier farming jungler here. So X7, they've got the Trundle who can impact lanes more, which is a really big point for this mid lane, is even though Yone does have slightly stronger early game, they have the Trundle who is happy skipping camps, happy impacting those lanes. And when you have lanes like this who are snowbally, or even this bot side where you've got a Jinx who wants to scale, a Trundle who has lanes that he can gank and play around is extremely happy.
It does feel like whoever gets ahead tends to take these games.
You can already see it right here.
Ooh, KT able to get a bit of damage onto Sin already. They're pushing the pedal to the metal there. They're getting the slow onto Jamsu, and here comes Viking looking for a gank here. Going to flash in as well. Sin getting taken low. Will he go down though? Just on the tower. They're going to throw forward. KT finds the kill, and it is going to be X7 going all the way underneath the tier 1 to pick up first blood.
Yeah, I'm so shocked that worked. You saw they had the info. They read the map really well. The early game plan from X7, they dropped the ward at the top side of that bot bush there. They saw Trundle coming in really early on, but it's just not enough. You can see the range and the strength of this Trundle, the pillar. Tabby with a fantastic early flash in, making sure they got Signs flash early, and Viking can just easily follow up, flash in on top of Signs flash there, pick up the first blood, and KT with the lethal tempo kept her in range to pick up that kill.
And back to the mid lane. We're going to see a bit of prio from Viking. They're taking the Scuttlecrab on the bot. So we're now seeing the invade, though, coming out from Julbu. It's something that we've talked about and categorized so early on in this game, in this series. And it is now happening on such a good champion for it as well. The Udyr, obviously notorious for his farming and power through the clearing. But Icy Gale push on the tower. Do we maybe get an early dive here? Level 4 for both the jungler and the top side. There's the Ignite going down. They're going to get the stun. And there is the Phoenix just burning down the Jace. It's going to be Wraith picking up a kill in the top side, putting Icy Gale behind.
And what a lead this is for Julbu early on. You saw Viking opt in for that gank on bot side, and the downsides of that are you are late to those first rotation camps on bot. He did end up picking up the blue, he went to the Gromp, got that, but in that time Julbu just took Krugs and was on top side. So even though they got this lead in bot side, Icy Gale trading really hard on top and putting himself in a position which allowed him to get dove there. Burning Flash and TP this early on is so hard for the Jace to play. You have to play really careful now. And again, with Vikings pathing going from top to bot once again, you have to be careful in these bounce backs.
Yeah, we have to give a quick shout out to the sponsor. Obviously a very tense game, but sometimes for you guys at home, you need to take a break, take a Kit Kat, you know, and have a good time. That is the sponsor for the NLC Aurora Open. So shout out to Kit Kat. Obviously, don't eat them just by buying them. You have to break the sticks apart. That's an important notice that has to be mentioned. But back into this game, talking about breaking them apart. It does feel like X7 are trying to really divide and conquer over Rate. They're getting those ganks around those lanes, and obviously they do have a lot of pressure in those external lanes, whereas obviously in the mid lane, maybe giving up a little bit to Eero.
Yeah, and you can see an X7 side here, they got the Prio on the bot side, they got the first blood advantage, and Slowq getting that base off and TPing in. You can see Eero slightly froze the wave there to try and make Slowq lose minions, but what's this allowed is allowed them to have the mid Prio, start up this Drake here, and not lose any tempo if you're on the side of Viking here. You know, he's cleared his wolves, only got the Gromp up here. Bit of a free Drake here. Jobu though, really happy power farming. You can see the lead that he's already created. He's cleared those second rotation bot camps, clearing the top side camps, and Vikings Krugs will be spawning in the next 30 seconds or so. You can see if he wants to go, play into that top side again. Isagil is a very, very aggressive person. You can see what happens when he does get leads in lanes. You can see what he tries to get here, but sometimes it can just be the downfall here. Viking pathing towards bot, Jobu on top side. There's those Krugs spawning. Looks like he's beelining straight towards them and potentially a dive after.
We'll have to see how this one does play out. It's though reminiscent for me of game one. You know, the Dragon going over to the side of Ray early. Yes, Jewel getting those leads, but this time they are making sure they get kills with it. The dive up top side, Icy Gale going to be going pretty low. Junardo will fall to the tower as well, 1-for-1. A nice respite for Icy Gale. Jewel will get some damage onto this tower. Will take one plate for his troubles, but can they convert it into more? We talked about game one a little bit just then. They were able to find that early lead through Jewelboo, through that farming, but they weren't necessarily able to turn it into the objectives, and so far, X7 are the ones that have taken objectives, and now, looking for a play on the bot side, Tabby is going to go pretty low here. Bailout would have kept them alive, but they don't need it right now. Sin is the one that's going to have to run away. KT dropping the damage down, and the Pillar of Ice just holding them against the wall there. Jamsey not able to do enough. Had the Bailout on to the Jinx, but it isn't going to be able to save them.
Yeah, you have to slightly question what Rate are doing there. I know you've got this Jinx lane that you want to get ahead, but when you're stomping topside this hard and Jobu does want to play for himself, look at what Vikings losing on topside here. He lost Krugs, he's losing Raptors, he's probably going to lose Red, and they got a kill on Icy Gale. You need to respect the cross map side. You can't be what we call Adam trading, where you're trading hard when your jungler is pathing away from you. You can't be doing that when your jungler is on the opposite side of the map here. And you can see 2 plates already gone down in bot. KT going back to base here, picking up Noon Quiver. Really strong, really accelerated in this game at this point. One Drake, Herald is now spawning.
Is that like Adam, like referencing the Vine, or are we BMing the player a bit here?
No, as in Adam from BDS. He often likes to trade on his own weak side. So
no worries. But just for the clarity of people at home, you know. But shout out to Vine, you know, should come back. But either way, back into this game, Eero is going to have a few visitors potentially, although Ward is going to spot out Viking though, so he should be able to play pretty safe.
Yeah, bit of a mistake here from X7. You can see Tabby's open towards topside here, but they haven't actually started the Herald on spawn. So if Rate want to, they can just push this wave in and either 1, choose to go to Herald and contest, or 2, you can see Jobu's moved into bot side here and they can just play for the plays. Karma, Tabby is committed so hard towards topside, but KT going for the kill.
KT under the tower, now going to be chased down, trying to get some damage onto Sim, but the Bailout will come through. There is the assist, which means the Sim will stay alive, and Jobu picking up another kill on this map. He has become a menace throughout this series, and his power is just going up, but is it going to be enough? As right now, Eero in trouble, going to have to use ult to get away, but Slowq followed him as well. It was the flash over the wall, and now Slowq looking for the damage. One more auto, but Eero gets away. Slowq dashing back, he gets the final bit of damage with the abscond, and he will pick up that kill. It almost was the great escape, but it will not be. And now Tabby is caught out. The team is moving fast, but a good flash over the wall will get them away. As Slowq might be the next one on their list. A good lockdown with the Glacial Prison will mean 1 kill back to the side of Rate. They trade 1-for-1 of their mid laners.
And again, just like game 2 here, Junardo coming down here and saving what looks like a doomed fight. A great play, a great roam, ulting in, sniping and taking down Slowq. But don't be fooled, that was an assist on Tabby on the side of Slowq's kill, but that was a solo kill in my eyes. A fantastic play from Slowq, stealing the Yone ult, following Eero's ult as well, and then dashing over the wall to secure the kill. A really great game. But going back to the Herald, a bit of a question mark play from the side of X7 there. They're committing so many resources to Herald while that bot lane is being pushed into them. And you can see KT is so strong at this point. Pickaxe over the side of Sign, and you just left them alone in this bot as the wave was stacking in there, and they did manage to get the shutdown. So Jobu is absolute monster this game. Once again, 3 games in a row is having a fantastic start to this game here. Very far ahead in camps here as the Herald does go down, and that does look like it'll be another 2 plates for the side of X7.
Yeah, first Rick will be achieved by X7. They will take it in the bot lane. Goodbye to your tower. Katie going to get a little bit of extra gold. And also Tabby moving away so they get even more of that isolated gold. So a nice play for X7. We'll see if they can capitalize more on this. Obviously, KT, this bot lane has been very impactful for both sides. We talked about how good Sin was in Game 2 at basically keeping his team together and dishing out that damage.
Yeah, and you've just got to look to see what you want to do to side of X7 here. You've got the Drake spawning in the next 10 seconds here. You've got a lot of gold from this bot lane tower, a lot of plates being taken down, and instead they are looking to...
Soul unbound. Cleave going to give him a bit of a shield. Hero will survive, although it did look a little bit dicey at one point. Although talking about dicey, Icy Gale in big trouble gets picked up. Julbu once again just everywhere on this map, but that is going to come at the cost for this Dragon. Straight away, Viking going to go down to that one and pick up the objective.
Yeah, and you know what? X7 are getting another Drake here. I know you're killing Isagale multiple times, but you're still losing the opposite side of the map here. And you can see Jobu coming on top side. Isagale, not much to do here. If you don't flash that Sejuani at all, there's nothing you can do. Actually, did flash in the end there, so really unfortunate. He's burning again his flash and still going down, and Jobu is just a bit of a tear right now. And you can see X7, yeah, you do lose Isagale on the top side, but you've already died 3 times. It doesn't matter if you're trading for these bot towers and you're getting the Drakes. X7, they didn't even have to reset. If Rate wanted to, they could have contested that bot side and you'd be fighting on your tempo without X7 having their bases. But instead they've given it here. But the strong side of this is Jobu is extremely fed at this point.
Yeah, it is indeed. But we'll see if they can carry. You know, I kind of reminisce it back to Game 1 when we talked about it a little bit earlier, and it is giving that vibes. But this time, Julbu is much further ahead. He's able to get a lot more camps. He's able to have a lot more proactivity in this game, and they haven't thrown a Herald. So far, it's going a lot better, but we'll see if they can convert this. Now, talking about converting, when we get to the late game, when we get to that 25-minute mark, 2 items. Let's start there, actually. Let's start at 2 items. Who is kind of having the power level? You know, who is going to be winning those team fights if everything is even?
Honestly, I think it can be on either team at this point. The one questionable thing I've noticed is Jonaro on Sejuani is running Aftershock, which means Trundle is going to get so much value if he does manage to ult when that Aftershock is procs here. And if he joins the fight here and that interaction happens, then I just think there's no one that's going to kill the Trundle. You've got a Jinx here who will scale eventually, but 2 items, you still got to favor KT on this side. You've got a lot of peel in the sides of your Karma and Trundle, and so the Yone probably not quite strong enough to be one shot in the backline, but Jobu is kind of the man you want to watch and look out for at this point. 120 CS, almost 10 CS per minute, stealing away Raptors right in front of 3 people's faces is just a bit of a crime at this point, and you can just see the amount of pressure he's been providing in this top side.
Yeah, he's 2 levels up on Viking right now. They said that the Viking isn't going to have a fun series. He's not going to be able to sit back. It has been true. Julbu has been on his case all day. And we'll see if he can make even more plays as Viking is trying to take these Krugs, but it's being pestered quite a lot by this Uda. They've brought Tabby up now as well, and Slowq is in the vicinity, but it is a 3v3. Jamsu and Ero are there as well, but Misfortune KT is coming up. We see a wide rocket there from Jinx, but it's not going to lead to any damage.
Yeah, and one thing I want to start looking out for is when you do get into this mid part of the game is how do teams open? Are you going to be opening onto the 3 lanes and still contesting mid, or do you decide to play for these opening 2 lanes here and contesting with numbers advantage? And that's a sign of a okay team to a great team, a team that understands how to open the map here. You can see here Ero, he does have the prime top side and is resetting, and Rate do have tempo here. They've opened 3, 4 to the mid lane. Even you saw Jonaru had the prio on the bot side, used it to rotate in fog towards mid lane, allow yourself to guarantee secure that prio with numbers advantage, and if X7 did decide to contest, then you can opt into fights here. But prio going down, we'll see how they use this. Will they secure deep vision, or will they just use this for an item reset?
Indeed, right now. Looking into this game, though, it's slowed down a little bit. We are going to be getting the next Herald very shortly, and the Dragon not too soon after, 1 minute 40. Obviously, Herald has been a really poignant part of this series, and we feel like the Herald takes have been kind of crucial as to who is basically winning these games. And once again, X7 going to be looking up to that top side, looking to take this one early. Is this a world where you want to see Rate contest it? Although saying that, they're going to be able to catch KT under this tower. That is going to be a goodbye misfortune. Now X7 looking to maybe close this one down. John R, you are going to be taken down as... Oh, Renata going to be able to drop the hostile takeover, and here comes the Yone, able to get huge damage. Slowq going to be going back into this fight, but immediately gets removed from the game, and Julbu is just tanking tower and just doing everything that he wants in this fight, able to get so much damage off Rate once again, picking up another good team fight, and now they themselves are going to go to the Herald. They've got the gold lead as well. Rate pulling out all the stops in game 3.
Yeah, and you have to question what KT was doing there. There's clearly miscommunication from someone within the team there. You saw 3 people had started contesting, 4 people had started contesting the Herald, and KT was stuck trying to clear a mid lane wave. And the one thing I have to question is Sign there. He would reset it as Herald spawned there, so I for sure thought this was X7's Herald, but Jonaru, once again, an unsung MVP here. You can see in the replay that's coming up, he just came in through the mid lane. He saw KT napping here, a great rotation, and even almost predicted the flash there, pick up the kill. And again, yeah, KT just behind there, staying in mid while Herald has been started. Isagil TP's on the top side here, but there's nothing he can do. And Jamsu, a fantastic ult to buy time for Julbu here, sorry. And Eero, a great Q flash there to finish the fight.
Yeah, and still keep going back in, maybe could have got away, but that is for the hindsight specialist. Right now, Viking is going to be locked down by the Udyr, and Julbu is just keeping the chase going. There is the freeze from the side of the Sejuani. John R now playing his part, and they're going to be able to pick up the kill onto the troll himself, Viking, and now they're going for the dragon. So they are stopping short X7's run to the soul point. They're going to be able to pick one up for themselves, and a very crucial one in that Ocean Soul is the rift that we have for game number 3. Isagil, though, going to be able to take a little bit of gold back with this tower in the top side, but we are going to see that traded for the bot lane tier 1 by Sin.
Yeah, nice consolation prize there for Isagil. Does get the tier 1 tower on top there, and Tabby not actually securing any deep vision there. You have to wonder, while Ray are on that Drake there, trying to get something on the opposite side of the map. You are getting the Herald, but get some deep vision. The deep vision will allow yourself to get more information on the map. If you play with more information, maybe you can create numbers advantage on the opposite of the map. But once again, Julbu, 2 items. He had it 16 minutes into this game. That's 2 games in a row. That's extremely impressive. You can see the amount of pressure that this guy creates in the game and how much carry potential he has. And it doesn't matter if he's on a carry like Viego, he's even on champs like Udyr. You can see how much presence he has in this game, the impact in the early game, and how hard he can carry. So I want to see what he can do from this. I want to see if he's a good jungler or if he's a great jungler. Can you carry these games with this lead?
What a game to try and do it. This one is for all the marbles. The winner of this goes through to the next stage of the Aurora Open. The loser of this goes home. You are the weakest link. Goodbye is what Anne Robinson would say. But for us, we're just going to say goodbye to you, you know, if you lose. But going back to this one, X7 coming through there, looking to maybe find a pick here or there. We did see the Jensen was a little bit overstep there, but able to walk away as they can now put a lot of pressure around this mid. But here comes Julbu. Going to be looking to chase him down. We are going to see the Evasion Prism go slightly wide, but there is the takeover from the side of the Renata, but it's going to be KT in a rough situation. Viking is going to go down on the other side of the fight. Udyr just running through the team, and X7 have been just split apart. There has been no chance for them to get a win in this team fight. They get absolutely removed from the game, and Rate are just picking up this tempo.
And your summer split finalists there are getting taken down. Well, looks like they could be getting taken down by your summer finalists in the side of Rate there. Both teams going to final in their divisions except Rate. Div 2 obviously against Div 1, and a fantastic game to bring in 2x7 here. 5k gold in front at this point. Julbu, again, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. 700 gold shut down. He's almost double Viking CS and had a lot more impact in the early game here. Just a fantastic game. They took down the mid tower. You can see Julbu's taking all these camps in the bot side, and even on top side, they don't care that they're showing on 3 parts of the map here. They're even taking stuff on top side. Slowq looks like he's trying to do hero plays at this point. Does get both sons, so it is a good consolation prize for the side of him.
Oh, someone play the dual theme to because here it goes. It's only inevitable. Julbu is chasing him down. Icegale doesn't have flash. Tabby's there, but I don't think he's even going to care. They are running away. Trundle is near. Maybe it could help Icegale disappear, but I don't know. Julbu is going to be jumping forward, get some damage down, but there are 4 members of X7 here. This shouldn't be happening, man. Ray is just running through this team as if they are just up 20k. It's not even that far. It's only 7k at the 20-minute mark, but Ray, they are just pushing the go button every single time.
Yeah, Jobu doesn't care at this point here. You can see him bot side, he's just cheating tempo as Eero goes in.
He goes in, Viking trying to stay alive, but it looks like their fight might be still. Julbu is going to be able to pick up a kill there. Tabby trying to run away. Will they be able to get anywhere? Under tower they go, but they're just going to get consumed by the storm. Slowq is next on the list. There goes the hostile takeovers, but it's not going to change anything. The team is too strong, and it looks like X7 are going to be going down. Icegale will be able to help pick up the kill on to the Udyr. Goodbye to Julbu, but the pressure that they have exerted, they've taken down a mid-tier 3 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, Jobu feeling himself a little bit there. But on the top side here, you saw Eero just taking Katie down there. Solo, you have mid laner against AD at 1v1. There's nothing you can do as AD. And Jobu, it doesn't matter that he hasn't reset. It doesn't matter that he stayed on the map for this long. He still looks for these. You can Karma Mantra speed yourself up. It doesn't matter. He will always catch you. And Eero, brilliant heads up play here. Does look for the great ult. Manages to take down Viking. And Jobu just goes in. There's the damage on the side of X7 is so low DPS. You've got a lot of insta burst, low DPM, and you can just see there's no one that can do damage. Jobu feeling himself a little bit too much here, had clearly put on his new jacket here, tried to go in, show it off a little bit, and gets taken down. 1k goes for side of KT, but honestly, I don't think it really matters. You have to be on at least 4 items to be able to start dealing with the tankiness that comes out of Udyr.
This Udyr is absolutely massive. And so is the gold lead for Rate Gaming. They are up 6,000 gold. Dragon in 7 seconds. Surely X7 can't contest.
Yeah, I think at this point you just drop it. You've already secured a 2 Drake lead, and that's the power of having early Drakes here. If you're a team that wants to scale, you don't have to contest these Drakes. Heck, you don't even have to contest the next 2 Drakes here. Slowq is feeling himself there, looking on Jamsu.
Jamsu is going to be going pretty low there. There is the Mega Death Rocket stolen, but it's not going to be able to lead to a kill from Slowq. Jamsu will survive. And now Ray taking control over this mid once again. They've just left Jubilee to this Dragon. They will pick up another one. That's the second of the game. It's now Viking in trouble. Fate Sealed comes out, and goodbye to the Trundle. And now they're looking for more. Joanu is going to step forward. They did get the lockdown of the Glacial Prison, and Icy are going to have to be running away as KT and Tabby back into the base they go. But I don't think anywhere on this map is safe from Julbu.
And that's a worrying sign if you're X7. Julbu was on the Drake, and you're still losing 5v4 fights when the most fed member, the 9-1, the star of the early game, isn't even there. You can see Eero. You know, we spoke about him being a control mage player, but my goodness, look at the way he plays on this Yone, tearing the game up. Even though he did get solo kill by Slowq in the early game, you can see how he plays.
In trouble now, getting locked up by the Sejuani. Going to be pulled back, and there goes Eero looking for the damage, but a lot of damage. We are going to see the hostile takeover buying some time. They will go 1-for-1 so far. Sin now stepping forward. Tabby trying to run away, but the zap will slow them down. Gets a few more autos in, but not going to be able to finish off this kill. We'll be able to pick up the red buff, and the Baron has been taken. Rate are in such a dominant position. What is the answer for X7 to come back into this game?
At this point, it's a struggle. Your comp needs to get ahead early game. You've got a Jace who needs to be ahead of curve to be useful. You know, Trundle, also a facilitator, skipped all these camps in the early game to help his bot lane, and he's down 4 levels. The side of Silas as well, you're not even 2 items, and you're against a 2.5 item Yone. There's just not a lot you can do on the side of X7 apart from hope that Rate do mess up at some point, and it's just not looking like that. They've got the Nash, they are just so far ahead. You've almost got a 10k gold lead. Doesn't matter if you're still 2 Drakes away. I expect them just to play 2 lanes here, open top side, and start playing for these tier 2 towers.
We'll have to see if they can find anything. Maybe some sort of cheese could come through. Maybe if they hide in the bush, they could stop the push. You know, it's a thing that could occur, but it does feel very difficult for X7 indeed. But we talked about them coming back from deficits before. Maybe this is one that they'll have in store. It does feel pretty tricky though. Rate are notorious for having their fast games, for having those early leads and winning out the game. And I'm not going to lie, Julbu, we talked about it from the get-go. He's been highlighted by everyone on the desk. He has shown up in Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't disagree. I can't agree with that more. Sorry, it's just a fantastic game overall here. And ways to get back into X7. It's rough at this point. You can see SlowQ trying to salvage something on the bot side, get some CS, but it's hard to clear these minions. I think they have to put in 1 bullet time from MF into top side, clear this wave, maybe give yourself a chance to take the tier 2 on bot, but it's really rough at this point here. Free items on MF, so can do damage if left alone as Viking does ult Sejuani here, but no follow-up engage going.
Nothing going through with that subjugators. Here goes
Hero
from the side, looking to get a bit of damage, but doesn't manage to land the face steal. But there is the Glacier Prison on to Icy Gale. Also a big ultimate there from Renata. Hostile takeover, but bullet time over the top. That's going to be a lot of damage onto the stage. One, they've taken one down, and maybe they can look for more, but SlowQ has to run. It's Jubilee all the way. He's looking for more. Gets one, will walk away, and still very strong, still very tanky. Rate just keep the push going. They're trying to end it, but Jubilee, the towers, it's not going to be enough. The shield is massive. He is a warrior that refuses to die, and he is now going to be able to help his team keep pushing this one. Sin mowing down these towers as Zero. Going to go aggressive onto Viking. Will get some damage down. The Ignite goes over. Trying to finish this one off. Solo Bound going to take him back to zero position. Icy Gale tried to trade some damage back, but it's not going to be. X7 will keep their base intact. But this game is very much rate to lose. They are up so far ahead, and there's only a few structures left from them putting this one to bed.
Yeah, not lost the game again, which is good. You've got the Drake spawning in 1 minute. I'm not expecting them to contest that. I'm expecting them to just scale up a little bit here. Fortunately, Isuke was close to the 3 item mark. A pretty big spike from him. You see he's got the mana immune at this point. You see you've got KT on 3 items coming towards that 3.5 items. I'm expecting a Phantom Dancer at this point or something with a bit more team fight agency here. But they're going to give this up. A lot of minions to be farmed in these mid and top inhibs that have gone down. And SlowQ still just getting to that 3rd item there. Does have the Zhonya's now, which is a good consolation prize.
Oh, and they might be hoping for some consolation for this as well. SlowQ is going to be caught up. Jubilee just running under the tower. The burn from this Icy Frost Phoenix is too much. And they're going to be able to take the tier 2 in the bot lane as well. There's only a few remaining structures. There's only so much time left in this game, and Rate are trying to end it.
Yeah, and that's them sieging down on the tier 3 at this point here. Nothing that you can do to the side of X7. And you think once 3 inhibs go down, there's just all hope is lost. It's so difficult to play into a team when they have double supers pushing in here. And Jobu, no fear. He's just going in 1v4, not even having his team back up. They're just soaking up damage as they try to take down that first tower.
He's able to drop the Storm. It's just such good form from the side of Rate. They're charging forward. They're going to be able to take this one down. There is the dive into the backline, but they may not even need it. They're able to get so much damage onto X7. They cannot stand, but maybe they turn this one around. Erol goes in deep. He picks up another kill. Viking running away. SlowQ takes the face steal, tries to come back. He gets a lot of damage. Maybe Viking goes down, but it's going to be SlowQ on its own. Will we be able to kill off Julbu? The king of this series is going to take you down, and Rate are going to be able to take the crown. We said that X7 looked so strong, but it has all gone wrong, and it is now time to sing Rate's song.
That's it. X7 go down. Your finalists of Summer Split there are taken down by the Summer Split finalists of Div 2. What a fantastic performance from the side of Rate, and especially Jobu. I'll say it again. What a great game he had, abusing the fact that Isuke was an extremely aggressive player, trading in that weak side, getting ahead, taking the camps that Viking skipped to in fact that bot lane, and just taking over the game from it.
All we can say is Julbu. You know, he is built different, came through, showed it, did exactly what Veteran talked about from the get-go, from day dot on this stream. Veteran said he's going to go and he's going to steal away Vikings camps. He's going to make this a difficult day for him, and he did exactly that in Game 3 where it mattered most. This man does not choke. He is no joke. You've got to watch out for him. Chimera, what are your closing thoughts on this series?
Keep your eye out on Jobu. Veteran's clearly got a good eye. I want to see what this guy can do in the next series there. Unfortunate for X7 there, you know, a great org. Did get taken down, but Rate, another great org that we can look to follow for the next stages. And Jobu, again, great play, fantastic series. I hope just want to see more from him, honestly.
That is going to be all from the series. That is going to be all from me and Chimera. We're going to throw it back to the desk. Don Jake, you can collect your prize now.